Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dane Plays Saxophone, and today we're going to be talking about jazz. Specifically, elements to a good jazz solo. Now, this can apply to most any instrument when you're doing a jazz solo, but this will be specifically tailored to saxophone because that's what I'm playing on. So, a thing I could start with to make a good jazz solo is space. What I mean by space is you don't want to just start out your solo playing notes and just never stop. It, for one, makes it exceedingly difficult to find new ideas and rhythms if you have a long solo, and also it's boring. If you're just going to play just crazy notes the whole time, or slow or fast, it kind of gets repetitive. Adding space can make it so that your solo, for one, can be lengthened. It kind of gives you a little wiggle room, and let me just show you an example of this. So I'll do it on a F blues. Now, if you noticed, I started off slow, which you don't have to do it slowly. You can apply this to even if you have a fast solo, but adding space. So, another key thing you can do to kind of help your solo is called tension and release. Now, what I mean by this is, same thing with space. If you just play the same notes, you don't add any space, you just play them all. Tension and release kind of helps you build up tension. One way you can do this is by going into your solo and then just holding a note. It can be a low note, a high note. It stands out more if it's a very, very high kind of out note, if you can understand that, or like a really low note, because those stand out more than the middle octaves. So let me do a demonstration. So the tension, obviously, was the high note, and then what's called the resolution is when you break the high note or low note or just extended note, and you break it, and you go back into your solo. It kind of makes it more interesting and kind of, tasty in a way. It adds a little bit of character to it, and also makes it so you don't just play the same rhythm, because that gets boring. Another cool thing you can do with your solos, and this is more of an effect feature, not really like a main, like you apply this to the actual structure of the solo. Tonal embellishment. And certain instruments like piano, it's a little bit more difficult to do tonal embellishment, but for saxophone, there's different ways you can do this. One example would be bending the note, where let's say you want to play a high middle octave D. Now, that's in tune. To bend the note, you would drop your jaw really low, enough that you can still play, but listen to what happens. Now, if you're in a solo and you start doing that, it can add a bit of, what was that? And it gives your solo more character. Another tonal embellishment you can do is growling. Now, this one's a bit more difficult. I myself, I can't do it perfectly, but I can give you a somewhat accurate representation. So, now to growl, it's kind of difficult. It's called a growl because you, in some ways, growl into your instrument. You're going to try to make that sound into your horn. Now, it obviously sounds better when you're doing it in a solo, and also, you kind of want to make this your finisher. If you're a lot of solos, there's a progression. You start slow and low, and you build it up in your climax. That would be an interesting little feature you can put into your climax or your solo as you get down to the resolution. You can also apply that to the tension and release. As you're holding out that tension note, you can throw a little tone bending or growling in there to kind of enhance the effect of it. Now, this is more of an important key rather than a little kind of helps your solo. This is melodic development. And what I mean by this is that this applies to space as well. When you start low and slow, melodic development kind of means that you build your solo up. You start low and slow, and you start building it. You get higher and faster. And it kind of gives your solo more character, and it makes it better. By using this, makes it less boring, obviously. And this is going to be a demonstration. Now, if you heard, I started off low and slow, and then melodically developed the solo to a higher pitch. And you can space this out as much as you like, but this kind of helps your solo for also when you're reaching the climax of your solo. High, using the melodic development, makes it easier. This is more of a stylistic feature, such as tonal embellishment. This is just repetition. You can use this, for example, if you're kind of running out of ideas, or you can use this as a main idea. So let's say you're in the middle of your solo and you're thinking, okay, I've used all my best moves, kind of running out of ideas. You can start doing a repetition. So let's say you're on F blues. You can go from G, F, D. That also works with tension and release. You can use that as well in incorporation with tension and release. It kind of lets you build your solo, and you can add it in. So that's all I have on jazz today. I think I'll finish out with a jazz solo and kind of try and incorporate all these 5 things I've given you today. So let's go. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you guys in the next video.